Welcome back to Fiction Flux. Today, we're diving into an exciting new fanfiction. What if Deku had a very powerful quirk and was hiding it? Imagine a world where Midoriya Izuku, the aspiring hero we know and love, possesses a secret quirk that could change everything. What if he kept it hidden, biding his time to reveal its true power? Join us as we explore the thrilling possibilities, character dynamics, and epic battles that arise from this intriguing twist. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the story. Izuku Midoriya is a 4-year-old child, and today was the day he would finally found out what his quirk was. Like every 4-year-old kid, Izuku was very excited for it. In the world where he lives in, everyone was born with a unique quirk. Although there was this small percentage of quirkless people, they were mostly born in the older generation. Inko Midoriya and Hisashi Midoriya were both lovely parents. They loved their son very deeply. However, Hisashi Midoriya was not the typical husband. He was a thief and murderer. Inko Midoriya, his second wife, didn't know about his past life. All she knew was the caring and loving man she married 4 years ago. Little did she know that he had another wife and son, nor did she know about his second life. Today was Izuku's 4th birthday, and as it is common in their society, the boy had a doctor's appointment to see what his quirk would be. Today was Izuku's birthday, and Inko, my lovely wife, prepared a special breakfast for him. We also had some plans for the evening too. We wanted to take him out to a nice place. A couple of days ago, when I was doing my work and stole some jewelry from a shop, I came across this hero coffee. I knew that my son loved All Might and the heroes. This was one of the best places to take him to for his birthday. Once I told Inko about the coffee, we both knew we would book a table there after his doctor's appointment. So I made the reservation a couple of days in prior and told them to prepare a birthday cake. I woke up by the beautiful and tasty smell of my wife's cooking. It was not hard to guess what she was making from the smell of it alone. Bacon with eggs and noodles. It was something Izuku really loved to eat in the morning. Morning my love. I went behind her and hugged her, giving her a kiss on her cheek before letting her go. It smells delicious. Inko, morning darling. Say, can you go and get our birthday boy up, please? Breakfast will be ready in about 10 minutes. On it. Just like that, I went upstairs of the house we owned into his room. Knocking at the door, I couldn't hear any response from him. So I just went ahead and entered. Izuku. He was still fast asleep on the bed. Izu. Still no response. He was really enjoying his sleep too. I felt bad waking him up. However, we needed to eat breakfast and then go to the doctor's appointment together, since my wife told me she couldn't get the day off. Come on, Izu. Wake up. I went to his bedside and slightly began shaking him awake. Izuku. Sleep. Don't you know which day today is? Izuku. No. I wanna sleep. But today is a very special day. Izuku. My birthday. That woke him up completely. Not only that, but he basically jumped off the bed and fell down if I didn't caught him first. Izuku. It's my birthday, Dad. Yep. Good morning, sunshine. Izuku. Good morning, Dad. Now come on, let's get ready for our appointment. We don't want to be late, right? Izuku. Nah, a hero is never late. You are right. After I helped him change, we both went down, sat together at the dining table as a family and ate breakfast. This is the best food I ever had. Inko. You are exaggerating again. Izuku. Nah, it's so good. Inko. Thanks. You guys. So my little green bean, what quirk do you think you will get? Izuku. Mom's. You don't want mine. Izuku. Yours. Yep. Izuku. Number. I want Mom's. Well, I guess it can't be helped then. Love, your quirk is still better than mine. Inko. Don't be ridiculous. I can only levitate small objects. Still better than a useless quirk like mine. Inko. Yours isn't useless. Izuku. What can Dad do? Daddy's skin can get really hard. Izuku. Cool. So you still want to have Mommy's quirk? Izuku. Yep. I want a stronger one too. Inko. Oh dear, you can't choose your quirk. Mom is right. You will have a quirk that nature especially gifted you and only to you. Izuku. Yay. I wanna know what. Then let's get ready and head out. Time skip brought to you by the sun under is hiding in shame because of small Izuku's smile. Nurse. The Midoriyas, please. Hisashi, that would be us. Nurse, please follow me. Hisashi, let's go Izu. The little greenette followed his father to the doctor's room. Izuku was of course very curious what his quirk would be, but he also couldn't help but wonder how the doctors want to find out what it was. He was wondering if there was a quirk that could tell someone else's quirk, or if there were some computer-based things helping the people find it out. Doctor, hello there little fella, you must be Izuku, right? Izuku nodded in response. The doctor then explained to him what they would do. It were basically just some simple tests to see in which category the boy's quirk could fall in. After an hour of testing, they concluded that Izuku's quirk was a mutant type of quirk. Thanks to the X-ray they found out that the boy was growing some wings. They couldn't tell what the wings ability would be. It was still too early to tell something like that. Doctos, may I ask what his parents' quirks are? However, seeing as the father doesn't have any bird-related quirk, the doctor wanted to know if the mother could help the boy get over the pain he would feel while his wings were growing. Hisashi, my wife's quirk is a weak telekinesis and I can harden my skin. Doctor, okay, and what about your parents and hers? Hisashi, my mother had some small wings and my father had a healing quirk. My wife's father has a mental quirk and her mother has a stronger version of hers. Why are you asking this? Doctor, you see, from the X-ray we can tell that the boy will get some wings. I was hoping that one of the parents can help him get over the pain while they were growing, and then the moment when his baby feathers shed and his true feathers grow. It is a painful procedure. Hisashi, my parents unfortunately passed away. Hisashi was shocked to hear that his son's quirk was related to his other son. The son they took from him. The one son his other wife sold off to. In that moment, something changed in him. Izuku, I will have wings. Doctor, yes. Izuku, that's so cool. Doctor, yes it is. And, do you know what is better? Izuku, no. What is it? Izuku tilted his head in confusion. What can be better than this? He was overjoyed to have a quirk. One that was related to the nickname his mother gave him. She called him her little angel every now and then while his father was calling him Green Bean. Doctor, we still couldn't conclude the ability of your wings. You might have an additional ability. Izuku was now clearly confused. He didn't what the doctor meant with conclude or additional ability. Izuku, what do you mean? Doctor, your feathers might be as sharp as a knife. They could also be made for high speed. Another example would be that you might be able to lift heavy things into the air and carry them around. Everything is possible from here on out. Your quirk still hasn't manifested yet. Doctor, now then, what would you like to call it? Izuku? Izuku, Angel's Wings. Doctor, haha, what a straightforward name. Izuku, no, wait, Angel's Gift. Doctor, alright, let's see if the name is available, and it is. I put it down in the database. Now congrats on your quirk Izuku, and I wish you a happy birthday. Now off you go, I have a lot to do and you don't want to waste your special day here in my office. Izuku, okay bye. Hisashi, goodbye. Hisashi was left speechless. Once he heard his son's quirk, he couldn't help it but miss his other son and hate his other wife. If he hadn't already killed her, then he would have done it right now. However, there was nothing he could do about his lost older son anyways. Now that he had another son with the probably the same if not weaker ability, he couldn't help but think of his older son. He didn't wanted to have anything that resembles his older son. He was still very sad to lose him after all. Knowing that his wife is not the one responsible for his son's quirk, he was not mad at her. He loved her after all. Left with no other choice, he accepted the fact that he would have a younger son that might resemble his older ones in term of quirk, but he looked so much like Inko that he couldn't help but admire his little green bean. No matter what his quirk was, he would be there for him. The poor boy didn't know what was waiting for him. He was so happy and he thought his family would be too, but he was so very wrong. Nothing could have prepared him for what was about to happen. Everything was prepared for my little Angel's birthday, all that was missing was for my husband to come over. I wonder what quirk he really got. Maybe he will be lucky and really get the quirk he wanted to have. Whatever it is, I am sure it is a brilliant quirk. He is my little angel after all. I was working in the morning and couldn't get my morning shift cancelled. I tried everything to get the whole day, but, in the end, I was only able to free the afternoon. My boss told me that he needed me here in the morning, and so I was not able to go with them to the quirk appointment we made. However, that didn't stop me from thinking about them and my son's quirk. There were so many different quirks he could have gotten. It might even be a new one that is not from my family's side nor my husband's. All in all, I couldn't wait to get home, and the moment I did, I immediately went to Izuku and swooped him of his feet. He always loved it when I held him high up in the air. Me, did you miss me, my little angel? Izuku, Hisashi, welcome back, love. I put him down and saw my husband walking over to me, hugging me and giving me a kiss. Me, did everything go well? Hisashi, yes. Me, and, Hisashi, why are you looking at me? Ask him yourself. I am sure he would be happy to tell it to you himself. Me, good point. I went down to be on an eye level with him. Me, Izu, what quirk did you get? Izuku, wings. Me, wings. I looked up at my husband since I did know that his mother had wings too. Izuku, I'll be your angel. Me, but you already are my little angel. Izuku, I'll protect you. Me, oh my little hero angel, I know that. Cafe. We after all booked a table and ordered a cake to be specially prepared for him. It didn't take long for us to get there, and once we were there, we spent our time as a family. I could see that Izuku had so much fun that day. All in all, we were one happy family after all. Or so I thought, if not for my husband who was drinking the whole time. I never saw him drink a single drop, and that's why it concerned me so much. Me, honey, stop drinking. It's not good for you. Hisashi, let me celebrate this day. Me, but you never drink. Hisashi, there is always a first time. Besides, this is great. Our son has such a great quirk too. Me, dear, is everything alright? Hisashi, yes, why? Me, you sound a little bit sad, that's all. Hisashi, I'm not. How can I be sad? Me, I don't know, maybe something happened. Hisashi, stop overthinking and enjoy the evening. Me, you are right. The coffee shop we were in hosted at 3 p.m. a hero session where every day there would be a new hero as a guest. Today it was Gran Torino. I knew almost every hero name thanks to my little angel himself. He loved them so much, and I loved seeing my little angel smile. He was my everything. I would even gladly die if it meant to save him. That's how a mother is after all. We spent the whole day in the coffee shop and only returned around 9 p.m. There were two reasons for that. The first one was Izuku. He didn't want to leave the shop and listen to every story the staff told him. They all looked like they enjoyed telling their stories and about the heroes they met. So, I couldn't bring myself to tell him that we were about to go. The other reason was my husband. I didn't know what gotten into him. He was completely drunk. I never saw him drink, not even a single drop, and yet here he was drinking until he nearly passed out. In the end, the coffee shop employees needed to call a cab and help me get my husband and my asleep son into it. I was really thankful for that. This coffee was a really nice place, and I was sure to come here again someday. The food was delicious and they were not expensive, not to mention all the fun Izuku had there. Once we got home, the taxi driver was also so kind as to help me with my drunken husband and my dear son. Me, thank you very much. Taxi driver, no problem, ma'am. I understand the joy after finding out your son's quirk. I was the same like your husband. Me, thanks again. Taxi driver, have a nice evening. Since I didn't trust other people very much, I only let him put my husband on the doorstep to our house and opened it only after watching him drive away. After that, I unlocked the door and put my son to bed first, but by the time I went to get my husband inside, he was already inside the house. Me, dear, are you feeling better? Hisashi, how could you do that? Me, do what? Hisashi, he's our son. Me, you are clearly drunk, my darling. Hisashi, how could you just sell him away? Me, I was now completely lost. He was obviously drunk, but that still didn't make any sense as to why he was saying something like that. Not only that, but I could feel the rage coming off of him. Me, honey. Hisashi, don't call me that. Me, how about I give you something to get sober? He however didn't listen and came straight to me and hit me. It was so hard that I fell down, knocking our flower vase down and cutting my hand on the shards. Me, Hisashi, no respond. He just looked at me before turning around and leaving towards the kitchen. I really hoped that he was about to get something to get sober or a glass of water. It maybe could have even been the first aid kit I put in a cupboard, since I did tend to cut myself while cooking a lot. However, what happened next left me speechless and unable to run away. The sight alone made my blood freeze, and all I could think of was Izuku. Something was wrong with my husband and I didn't want him to hit my dear angel or do something even worse with him. Please Hisashi. Wake up. Get sober already. Our son is in his bed sleeping. There is nothing wrong with him. Hisashi. Liar. I begged and hoped that whatever happened would not happen. How wrong I was, and the only thing I regretted was seeing Izuku there watching everything unfold. I wanted to tell him to run but I couldn't. I had not enough energy to do that. I am so sorry I can't see you grow anymore. Please be saved my little angel. Everything went on so fast that not even I knew what just happened, but one thing was sure. I would never be able to see my dear little angel ever again. Izuku was still a small child, and a child after a great day of speaking with all kind of people about his most beloved topic. He lost all his energy and got tired. It was his birthday and he was the happiest boy in the whole life until he woke up because of the sound of something shattering. Little Izuku became curious, but after he somehow managed to get out of the bed, all he heard was screaming coming from his father. Daddy, how could you do that to our son? He didn't understand what was going on. What he did understand was that his father sounded angry at his mother. Not knowing what was going on but realizing that he was angry about something his mother did, and hearing him mention, our son, he knew that his father was angry about his mother because of him. Now the green bean wanted nothing more than to go and apologize for something he didn't know what he did wrong. So he slowly began walking towards the living room where the screams were getting louder and louder until he saw his father with a knife in his hand. Izuku, Daddy. Though he was very little, he still understood that what his father had in his hand was a knife and it was dangerous, so he decided to call out to him. However, he didn't get any response. So he began walking closer to his father until he saw his mother laying on the ground. This alone left him completely frozen in place. There she was laying on the ground. He saw that she had injured her hand, but what happened next left him completely speechless. His father went towards his mother and stabbed her directly into her lungs and began stabbing her multiple times in her chest. The knife went into her flesh again and again and again. Blood began splashing everywhere. The ground began covering itself into a nice red color. His mother was laying on the ground lifeless, but before she died she managed to mouth him a, "Run away." But how could he do that? He couldn't just abandon his mother. So all he could do was fall to his knees and cry. Cry so hard that he somehow managed to snap out his father from whatever trance he was. Daddy, The man looked at his hands that were now covered in blood and his beloved wife. She was dead and he killed her. That was the sad truth the father was confronted with. Daddy, how could I do something like this? Hisashi crumbled to his knees looking at the dead body. His eyes moved from the body to the knife he was holding. Izuku, Mommy. Izuku was still where he was looking at both of them crying. The poor green bean was too scared to move, but he couldn't help it but cry over the loss of his own mother. Daddy, I am a monster. This was all the father said before standing up. Daddy, I am sorry love. I will join you in the afterlife. Please wait for me. That was all the father said before slitting open his own throat and falling to the ground with a loud thumb asterisk. Izuku, Daddy no. Don't leave me too. The poor kid cried and cried until he somehow unconsciously moved towards his parents. He was crying the whole night through until he fell asleep close to his own parents. Izuku was too sad to move or do anything else besides crying and hugging the dead bodies of his parents. Eventually the morning came. Morning quickly changed to afternoon, and this was when the neighbors finally decided to report a crying child at home. It was only around 8 p.m. that the police came in order to check for the crying child, and the moment they were in front of the house they could hear Izuku cry. Not knowing how the situation looked like, they immediately called for backup. That meant that they called for a hero. It was no other than Aizawa Shota, who was close by and reacted to the call. Not long after they got the message about a crying kid in a probably abusive household, he immediately rushed over, but little was he prepared for what he would find. The moment the police opened the door, Aizawa rushed in just to find a little kid crying and terrified about everything. The police tried to approach the child, but he immediately backed away. It was Aizawa's call that the police stopped approaching the poor deathly terrified child. He went a little bit close to the poor green bean and began crouching down in front of him. Aizawa, hey, kid. I'm Eraserhead, a hero. Do you like heroes? The moment Izuku heard the word hero, he looked up at the man and nodded. Aizawa, I see. A fan then. Another little nod. Aizawa, do you want me to tell you who I am? The trick Aizawa was playing was to bring the little child to other thoughts or even to make him come over to him. He could see that the child was covered in blood. Although he looked unharmed, there was still a chance that this was also his blood. Izuku, I do. Aizawa, oh really? Izuku, yep, your quirk is erasure. It's so cool. That surprised Aizawa. He was after all an underground hero. Not many people know of him and the ones that did were criminals he brought in. However, he couldn't remember having such a young child as a fan. Aizawa, do you want to see my capture weapon? Another nod. Aizawa, come over here kid. Aizawa carefully took his scarf down and held it to the child. Izuku was very curious, and even though he wanted to stay with his dead parents, his curiosity got the better of him and he began slowly walking over to Aizawa. Once he was there, Aizawa put his scarf over the kid's head and picked him up. Aizawa, can you point towards your room? The kid did as he was told, and not soon after he was in his room with Aizawa. The hero did this in order for the cops to do their jobs and look at the dead bodies. Aizawa, you really like heroes, huh? The whole room of the kid was covered in hero merch, and he also found the symbol of his yellow goggles and couldn't help but smile. Izuku, yep. Aizawa, do you mind if I change your clothes? Izuku, why? Aizawa, yours are wet. I don't want you to catch a cold. In reality, he wanted nothing more as to say, kid, look at you, you covered in blood. You seriously asking me why? But that was not something he could ask a kid that was so young and shaking like a leaf. Izuku, okay. Aizawa went ahead and changed his clothes while also taking the chances to inspect if he had any injuries, and to his surprise the kid didn't had any. They spent the rest of their time talking about all kind of heroes, including Eraserhead himself. The hero was very surprised to find such a great clever kid as a fan. Not only that, but the kid knew a lot about him, like a little bit of his fighting style and a lot about his quirk. It took half an hour for the ambulance to come and pick the kid up. After their ways parted, as the hero was not allowed to get into the ambulance with the kid. He would have loved nothing more, but the kid looked okay and they already had a person in there with another hero. They got the call and only came to pick up the uninjured kid for an inspection. Little did Eraserhead know that this was not the last time he would see the kid. Not only that, but this day was a day he could never forget in his life again. The image of a crying 4-year-old kid laying there hugging his dead parents was simply cruel and sad. He later found out that the man killed his wife and then himself. All he hoped was that the kid didn't had to watch this and only found them this way, but his instincts were telling him otherwise. And that's it for today. Hope you will like this story. If you wanted to read whole story, link are in the description. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for next part.